Welcome to Gumball Love. I'm Melissa Ledger, professional relationship coach, creator of Gumball Love and the Back to You Academy. If you're ready to stop the cycle of toxic men, get through the breakup once and for all, and finally get back to you, you are in the right place. This journey is about healing your heart, and you are encouraged to take the pace that is just right for you. In the process, you will build a foundation of confidence and strength that will make you unshakable, I promise. So get ready to level up your mindset and your lifestyle as you awaken the seeds of greatness just waiting to burst into full bloom. Let's do this. Welcome back to another episode of Gumball Love. I'm your host, Melissa Ledger. It has been a while, so I want to give you guys a quick update of what's been going on and then dig into this topic of I'm doing everything I think I should be doing, so where is this love of my life? What is going on? Why am I not meeting him yet? Someone posted this in our private Facebook group and it really got me to thinking, and I wanted to make an episode around it. I thought, what a perfect topic. So I hope you enjoyed last week's episode. It is awesome. And if you did not get a chance to listen to it, please do. I feel like it was an amazing conversation. Tanya Carter is a very, very gifted relationship coach. So if you didn't catch the last episode, we are revamping everything in the month of September and coming back strong. So you'll be getting weekly episodes. And I have rehired back our beautiful producer, Dana, who is incredible. And she was really integral in getting the podcast relaunched last year. So, really, I think just in a nutshell, and I don't want to spend too much time on this, but, basically Corona hit right in March, and I had the Back to You Academy going strong and still had the Back to You Academy going strong. Actually just brought it to a close last month at the end of August because all my girls found love and they really felt complete. And I had it open for 2 years. Some girls were there. We had a couple that stayed the entire 2 years. We had some that stayed a whole year, some that stayed several months, some that left and came back for periods of time. They used it for exactly what I wanted them to use it for. And so I got to a point where I felt like I needed to start writing the book. So I'm going to come back to that. So let's go back. So March to May, obviously, for me during the whole coronavirus, I worked with private clients in the Back to You Academy, but social media just kind of felt weird to me to post normal stuff. And I kind of wish I just would have pushed through it. But in New York City, it was really the epicenter and continues to be kind of the epicenter and one of the hardest hit areas from coronavirus. So for a couple of months, I stuck it out and then got really hungry for personal touch and wanted to be near family. So I came back to Nebraska just to be with family. And then things got more intense in New York. And so I made a really difficult decision. And I have not shared this I've shared this with very few people online. And so you might know this by now because I'll share it on Instagram. But I decided to leave New York City along with a lot of people. I think it's almost up to 1 million people that have moved away. It was a very difficult decision. It was a huge reason I didn't post anything because I really didn't want to have to explain it in 1,000 DMs of why and oh my God. And I know, those of you that know me well know that moving to New York was a huge deal for me. And it was a huge part of building my identity, which is going to be, we'll talk more about that later in this episode, because today's topic is, as I said, I'm doing all the right things. Where is my guy? And I feel like I've done what I think I need to do, and he's still not here. And so, I got to a point where I was in Nebraska and I wanted to see what I could do in New York City. I'd always had the dream of living there. And so to make the choice of leaving after 6.5 years, I never thought I would leave. I never thought I was going to leave New York City. I just thought this is where I'm going to be forever. And so this is so weird. not really weird, but I was walking down the street probably late 2019, and I felt God tell me that New York was over for me. And of course I was like, well, I just renewed my lease. So I kind of just brushed it off as, okay, that's a weird thought. And did that really come from God? But for those of us that have a relationship with God, he has a way of saying things to you that just sit in your spirit. That it's not sometimes it's most 99.9% of the time, I do not hear an audible voice. It's just that knowing that you have when you know the Lord. And so that's the feeling I got. And I just thought, I don't get it. And so when this happened, I just, all the energy that for me personally left, and I felt like I had to go. It just seemed like the right decision. So at the end of June, I moved out and moved back to Nebraska. I still have no idea where I'm going to actually live because I am with my mom. I just decided to be here temporarily and see what happens through coronavirus when things calm down, when I can travel in my full-time job and have meetings and go back into offices. So just kind of hanging tight and seeing where I want to live, what I want to do, and all of these things are happening. So also in 2020, I met the love of my life, and we have been together all of 2020. And I'll tell you more as it's appropriate. I don't want to live my personal life through social media or through my work. And I've also always said to you guys that I never want you to look at what I'm doing in my personal life and judge yourself against it or feel like my personal life has anything to do with Gumball Love. And what I mean by that is the concept of Gumball Love, the research that I've done, and the clients I've been able to help. It has nothing to do with Melissa Ledger. It has to do with the research and figuring out who you are, loving yourself. And ultimately, I've led many women. Now I have 2 women or 3 that have had babies, many that have gotten married, many that are in serious relationships. I've lost count, which I need to get count. So if you are one of those women, if you wouldn't mind sending me a note to say, hey, I listened to your podcast, or we worked together in the academy and I've been out of touch, but I did find a relationship, or I did find love, or I had a baby. I mean, I want to hear from you because I really want to be able to see how that ripple effect happened. And what I'm doing in my personal life, if I find love or go through a breakup, whatever I've been doing, it really has zero to do with you. And so that's why I've been always careful not to get too involved in what I'm doing, because I don't want this to be see, this is what I'm doing, you should do it too, because we all have a different journey when it comes to love. Your love story and someone else's love story are going to be completely different. And so we should never be comparing with each other. And I don't want you to compare with me. But I do have some things to share with you that I've gone through in my relationship that I think will be a really big eye-opener for you, because it's been huge for me. It's a little bit vulnerable for me to share. However, I think it will be life-changing. It has been life-changing for me. So moving forward, right now, I don't have a Back to You Academy open. So you'll probably hear it in my intro and outro. So if you are interested in being in the next academy, it probably won't be called Back to You. I want to change things up. But I will be writing the book for Gumball Love. So I'm going to be doing that from now until the end of 2020. And however, I do still want to take on a limited amount of clients. So I have a few going right now. I'm going to be selective in that I really want you to be at a place where you are ready to do the work, where you are ready to invest in yourself, and you're ready to maybe ask these tough questions. So this would be a great podcast for you to listen to see, yeah, maybe I am interested in doing the deeper work on the other side of this. What I publish here on a podcast or on an Instagram post is just scratching the surface of what we do behind the scenes, what we do one-on-one. I just worked with a private client, and she said to me, oh my gosh, she was telling her whole story, and she goes, you're probably just rolling your eyes like, oh my gosh, why didn't I leave him? And I was thinking, and I told her, I said, oh, okay, wait. Let's stop right there. because that's the opposite of what I want you to think about when you're working with me. I am never sitting here thinking, oh, why did you stay with him? Because that is exactly the mindset we have to get rid of. We stay for a lot of reasons, and we have to quit beating ourselves up for why we stay or why we're still in the relationship, and meet ourselves exactly where we are. So I'm going to teach you how to love yourself right out of the gate and not think, oh my God, no, I don't want, I'm the last person you should come to think, Melissa, I know I sound so dumb, but no, you do not sound dumb to me. And that is the mindset we have to leave behind when we're ready to make change and we're ready to love. We're going to love ourselves forward. We're not going to shame ourselves forward. You can't really do that. If you start shaming yourself, that's how you're going to remain where you are or even go backward. And that voice in your head, the voice that we hear in our own head, is the one that we believe the most. And so if that's the message that you're saying to yourself, what am I doing? What is wrong with me? Why am I still staying with him? That's the kind of mindset that's going to keep you moving in the wrong direction. So today's topic, I'll talk more about where I am and what I'm doing. I don't want to make this too much of a personal update, but I hope that gives you enough. I know I gave you a lot. Found the love of my life, moved out of New York. It was a lot. However, I wanted to share with you. So since I've been offline, haven't really been sharing this, I got established. I thought, okay, well, I'm back in my home state. And so what am I going to do with myself? How am I going to create the world where I am today? I don't have all the things that I used to love in New York, and I had to change my whole lifestyle. But then I started thinking, do I really have to change my whole lifestyle? And so I found I didn't find it. I went back to my old gym, Lifetime Fitness, beautiful gym. So I'm able to go to sauna and steam. And I taught you guys to don't be a stranger at the gym. So I found a trainer that I really like. And now we meet twice a week because I was kind of out of the fitness routine going through Corona. I was trying to do stuff on my own, but did some things on Beachbody. But again, I set up a system of accountability because I know what works for me. I thought, okay, when I was the most fit, I had systems of accountability. So I set up my food plan, my trainer. I found my old dance teacher. So I'm dancing again. I'm doing my workouts and am making life work in this temporary period of time. The hardest thing for me right now is not knowing what's going to happen or where I'm going to live. And I don't even know when that's going to change. It's so weird, you guys. I am a person that needs a plan, and my significant other, I drive him crazy because he'll be like, are we planning again? We're planning. And I'm trying to plan when I really can't make a plan right now. And so it's very frustrating. There's a lot of things up in the air. And so I thought, okay, what can I do with this time right now? And so I thought, well, I'm going to get in really good shape and I'm going to finish my book and I'm going to make a hard decision to close the Back to You Academy. Even though actually when I made the decision, I realized this academy has come to an end in this group of women because they have all achieved and arrived at the place I wanted them to be. And so there were a couple, actually 3 in the last month of it that found their loves of their lives. I mean, it was just like people that I didn't even think were close to it, and it just shows it can come into your life at any point. They weren't, 2 of them weren't even dating, and it just kind of happened. They met somebody through somebody. And so the point is there are seasons for everything. And so sometimes we have to make hard decisions to close out some of those seasons and start new seasons. So that's where I am. So I'll share more of where I am, what I'm doing, but I did take some time to just take a breather and figure this all out and get acclimated to being in the Midwest again. I have to say, energetically, it feels amazing. And I wouldn't have expected that because, living in New York City for the last, almost 7 years, it was kind of a reverse culture shock coming back. But I'm surrounded by family, and I know that a lot of us are so much more appreciative of family and being around each other. And I think that is what's making the big difference for me right now. It's the relationships that are the most important and being close to those that I love And so I'm really just allowing myself to be so grateful for this season. I'm not always grateful. Sometimes my boyfriend will remind me of what I have to be grateful for because I get pretty frustrated, like a lot of us do. However, we're getting there. So, all right, today's topic. I'm doing all the right things. So where is he? So this is what I hear a lot. I have friends. I have a great job. Melissa, I have hobbies. I just don't understand like what I'm doing wrong. What is it that I'm doing wrong? Because everything is in place. And so we're checking our watches. I actually just looked at my watch, like, so I have to do it with you, but you have that mentality, like do that with your wrist, check your watch. Okay. So that means we're putting a time frame on love, which is hilarious because when you actually find love, you will realize how the timing just needed to be exactly the way it is. And you will meet the person when you're supposed to meet them. However, when we have a timeline or when we feel like, hey, I'm doing everything right, so where is he? We're still in the belief that the relationship itself will complete the picture. It will make us happy. So your significant other cannot make you happy as an overall individual. Yes, they can contribute happiness to your life, but if you are someone who has anxiety, depression, or all other issues, I'm just using mine, that those things do not go away when you bring in your significant other. And I'm going to talk to you about kind of some of the things that happened to me that I realized, which are huge. I'm so excited to tell you guys. I just want to jump to that part right now. But when you feel like, here's the thing, when you feel like a relationship will become your happiness, that is a false belief. And so when we say, I have the job, I have the friends, I have the career, I have the hobbies, some of us think, okay, I know I'm supposed to have hobbies because that makes me a more interesting person. So it's like we gather some hobbies, so we have some things to talk about, and then we go online and we just can't find the guy and we get so frustrated. And then we think, okay, what's wrong? Something's got to be wrong. So do you know the thing that's wrong is thinking that that's what's wrong. The idea that there's something wrong with you is what's wrong with you. Let me say that again. Thinking that there's something wrong with you is what's wrong. Because when you think that, or you feel that something is wrong, you create the belief that something is missing in yourself. What am I missing? What am I doing wrong? Where is he? There must be something else I have to do to get this person attracted to my life. So that belief creates the energy that just you, by yourself, without the amazing hobbies that you probably really don't like doing, but you just did them because you thought you should. You felt like if I do these things, then I will then be worthy of love. So hobbies, work, friends gave you that impression. Okay, I did these things. Now am I worthy? But the problem is that is love based on conditions. So what you are telling yourself is that you have to have all the conditions correct in order to be lovable. So you keep focusing on the conditions and you don't actually know you are worthy without them. So I know this is kind of a little bit deep, but just stay with me. So love based on conditions is kind of like a perfectionism thing. I did this for years. I worked and worked and worked. And I know a lot of my efforts were for Gumball Love, for you. So sometimes when we are doing something and it's not producing the result, I believe nothing that we're doing with the right intention won't produce fruit. Like you might be doing this because you're trying to feel worthy of love, but in the process, you're going to learn other things. So don't feel like any of that effort was for no reason, because you will gain a lot in this part of the journey. And in fact, I'm going to tell you to continue that part of the journey, but that does not make you more worthy of love. So you have to believe that you are enough without all of the conditions being met. So if you have related to this content and you've dated the gumball guy looks for the sugar high. He constantly needs attention and validation. So we know this, yet we don't realize how it affects us when we get conditioned to provide that sugar high. What do I do when I provide the gumball? When he comes to me and he feels sorry for himself? When I give him the pep talk? Sorry if you hear a little dog feet running around. I have 2 puppies and it's impossible to keep them on the couch. So my youngest puppy is jumping up and down. So you might hear her little claws tick, tick, tick on the floor. But as my coach, Rachel Luna, says, we're going to do this imperfectly to get it done. So gumball guys are looking for the sugar high. We are providing that sugar high. So essentially we are conditioned to feel that we are not worthy unless we are providing this kind of response. And when he doesn't get the high, he ignores, he pulls away, or he cheats. So then we're also taught that if we don't provide it, then we don't get loved in return. So dating the gumball guy conditions you to believe love is conditional. So I want you to give yourself a break here, because this has been all you know. And if you listen to other podcasts or other content, you will understand the gumball guy a little bit better if that's new to you. But I want you to just simplify gumball love and think of it as some people in their interaction with you are constantly asking you, make me feel better, pity me, tell me how great I am, tell me I'm okay. Am I okay? Am I okay? Am I okay? And they want the answer to that in many different flavors. And so as we produce the gumball for them, we give them the sugar high, then something else happens. We also need the sugar high back sometimes. We're looking for them to validate us. And so the relationship becomes based on highs and these experiences that make us feel really great. And real love is so much steadier. It's so much calmer. It's so much easier. It doesn't require all of these conditions. But gumball love requires many conditions, and it's up and down, and it's a roller coaster. And so when you have been conditioned to believe this over and over and over again, it's really difficult to not look at your life and pick it apart and think, I need to fix this and I need to fix this. And there's a million products out there to tell you, yeah, these are all the things that men want. And these are all the things that you need to do. And here's all the things that you're doing wrong. And you know what? It's like diet plans. The diet industry is constantly telling you how to do all of these things. So you perpetually need their products. So because if we follow all these diet plans, we won't get healthy and we will stay overweight, or we will stay undernourished. We will stay deprived, and we won't really learn how to actually take care of ourselves in a healthy way that is sustainable, right? So if we're trying to get to the real love that is actually sustainable, then we have to look at it in a different way. So number one is you have to stop. Well, actually, I have these broken down into different. So how do you do this? So one, I want you to really look at the people in your life, the gumball people versus the gems. Okay. Who are the people that are gems, that give you gems and that receive your gems? So what you really have to offer are like rubies and diamonds and all of the gemstones. The friendship that you offer, the love that you give, the contribution that you bring to a relationship is so valuable. But that said, how do I know how valuable this is? This is something that I never really understood how to take the appropriate inventory. But I want you to just look at who are the gumball people in your life and who are the actual gems. This is something I have a lot of my coaching clients do. So if you have a pen and paper and you're not driving, or you can remember to do this later, just make a list of all the people that you interact with. Quick way to figure this out is look at your text message history. Who are you talking to on a regular basis? And who needs sugar highs from you all the time? And who actually appreciates and loves you for who you are? Now, for some people, there are some relationships where you get a combo. They're a little gumball-y sometimes, but they have the right intentions and they do love you. However, there is still a feeling that I don't want to necessarily say that it's conditional love, because that may not be the case, but it's the kind of person where they love you 100%. Okay, I just thought of someone in mind. They love you 100%. And they will listen to you if they know it's important. But on a day-to-day basis, they may not fully respond to your text. They may not hear you when you're talking and you say, I'm really struggling with something, or this is going on. They're kind of not really in tune with you. They may talk over you or interrupt. They may forget what you're saying. They may forget to come back to it. They don't realize they're interrupting. I used to take this stuff so personally. And as I was able to take a step back and say, okay, wait, is it me? Because I would take it always personally. I would think it was me. I would think I'm not enough. I would think I'm boring. I'm not interesting. They think I'm dumb. I would think all these things if I was interrupted or they didn't care. I would think they just don't care. And so we can talk, that's a whole nother podcast, but I just want you to think about who can I really be myself with? And I can just sit there. I always use this example in my pajamas and my messy bun and a cup of coffee and talk without feeling like I have to perform, that I can just be totally myself and I don't feel like I'm being judged. Think about those people. And it could be one person, maybe two. Sometimes we've been dating gumball guys and we have not been aware of this. The reason we're dating gumball guys is because we have gumball people all around us. And so we are constantly behaving in a way that caters to this type of person. Therefore, we're attracting that person right back into our lives over and over again. So we also tend to be people pleasers. We want to be liked, so we overdo it. So this doesn't mean we have to eliminate all these people. I'm not telling you to eliminate. I just want you to become aware of them at first. And the ones that are not, the ones that you really feel like you can't be 100% yourself, you can practice a little social distancing. So now this is really hard in the beginning because the people that are your biggest gumball people that you like, because a lot of times you're going to really like some of your gumball friends because some of them are really fun. That's why you've dated gumball guys. Gumball guys are so fun in the beginning. They're fun to date. They're entertaining. They're very complimentary. I mean, they can give you that huge high. So that's another reason that we get kind of sucked into this. So, however, when you change who you are around and you start paying attention to who is really invested in you, who really cares about you. And a lot of times we don't appreciate those kinds of people because when someone really loves you, it's not going to feel like a high. They are calm, they're steady, they're available, and they don't necessarily try to win you over or please you. They just love you for who you are. So that steadiness can maybe sometimes appear a little bit boring, or it just kind of goes under the radar. So I want you to think if it's like your best friend and you go to that person, a lot of times you may not think, oh yeah, I guess she doesn't judge me. I guess, yeah, because it's comfortable. It's easy. It's effortless. The people that really love you are effortless to talk to. They have your best interests at heart. They are not jealous. They are not competitive. They are just easy. It's just calm. And especially with us girls, we know a girl who's competing with us. I've had friends that I think I really want to be her friend, but I can tell she's jealous and I can't deal with that. I am so grateful for my sister we have never had jealousy between us ever. And that really set a tone for me with women. I've always gotten along with women so well because my sister and I were never jealous of each other or competed. But if you've had that in a sibling or you've dealt with it, I'm telling you what, someone who's jealous of you really can't be your friend. There's going to be a weird energy. So you gotta be careful with that and you can't overshare. Okay, so I get so excited I'm going into too much detail. So really look at them. Who can you be yourself? Who loves you for who you are? Okay. Then what I want you to do is start distancing yourself a little bit. Don't respond right away to texts. Decline social events that you would normally feel like you have to go to, even if it's an online event or a Zoom event or whatever you're doing in this period of time. Regardless of what it is, I want you to think about, am I doing this because I want to go, or am I doing this because I feel like I have to get the approval of these people? Because it's a huge shift. And I also don't want you to over-explain yourself or offer too much detail. Remember when I told you at the beginning of this podcast, I moved from New York City to Nebraska. I did not feel like I had to share that with the world when I was doing it. In fact, it's been 2 full months and I still did not share it because I gave myself that time to adjust, to acclimate, to take care of my clients. I needed to do things and it was not beneficial for me to use my energy to explain it to a bunch of people on social media, write it all out in DMs because everybody has different questions and people are going to have questions about my personal relationship. And so I have to have boundaries. So if you message me and you want to know all the details about me and my significant other, I'm not going to tell you because that's personal and private for me and I'm going to have boundaries there. Now I'm going to tell you some things that are pretty detailed even in this podcast so that you can see what I've gone through that relationship. But as far as specifics, it's just something that I used to overshare because I felt like I had to. But when we learn to love ourselves, we stop doing that. You do not need to explain to people that are not invested in your life, that are not close to you, that do not really actually care. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so and you can use this time as an excuse too. If you can use social distancing as much as you want, but I'm just saying preserve your energy and don't over-explain yourself. Okay, allow yourself to be comfortable. This is a huge thing. Allow yourself to be comfortable and appreciate those that truly love you. So instead of just saying, okay, yeah, I'm going to spend more time talking to the people that love me and less time talking to the people that I really feel like I feel like it's conditional or I feel like I have to work too hard, I'm going to spend less time. But I want you to take it a step further. And I want you to allow yourself to really soak in the love that you are receiving. Really look at, wow, they love me for who I am. And I want you to even ask. Be like, I know this sounds like a weird question, but why do you love me? What do I bring to this relationship that you love? Because I need to know why I'm loved beyond conditions. I've attracted these guys. You can tell them about Gumball guys, whatever. And so I so appreciate your friendship. And I need to be reminded of what I bring to the table. And they're not going to say, I really love you because you have amazing hobbies. Like we think, oh, I really love you because, just think of your best friend. Would you ever think, I really love you because your career's on track and, you have really amazing hobbies and I just feel like everything's in order. And that's what makes me click with you. That is not what makes people click with you. It's your personality. It's your sense of humor. It's how you think. It's the way your perspective on things. It's your generous heart. It's the way you laugh. It's the way, it's just you, right? And it's hard to see ourselves that way and love those things or even think about those things, but we have to do it because when someone falls in love with you, you need to believe that you are lovable and you need to believe that you are enough. Because if you don't and you think it's based on conditions, then you will constantly doubt it. So you might ask, how can I stop doubting it? Well, one, not to beat this dead horse, but if you are around people that love you and you really consistently feel it over and over again, this isn't going to be something that you just do tomorrow and you're going to feel it. But over time, you just start recognizing, yep, I feel this person. I feel the love. I feel my body relax when I'm talking to them. I feel accepted. I don't feel like I'm performing. I don't feel like I'm working for love. And I want you to keep remembering that and comparing it with those that you interact with. This starts a cycle of adjusting to accepting real love into your life. So you need to get ready for love. It's not about your career and your hobbies. It's about being ready. And I'm going to tell you what hobbies will do for your love life right after this. But I want you to be clear that if you keep entertaining gumball people, even if it's your mom or your dad or your sister or your brother or your coworker, if you keep doing it, you're going to keep telling yourself you have to earn love based on conditions, because they're going to ask you for the gumball. And if you keep giving it, you're not going to learn any other love language. So Gumball Love is a love language. It's a love language based on sugar highs. And those sugar highs are demanded from you. And if you keep producing that gumball, that's what you're going to do. But if you stop doing that, and I'm telling you, when you stop doing that or you slow way down, then you really feel yourself doing it. You're like, oh, yeah, I see this person. It really, really wants this. And I'll sit there and get grossed out like, oh God, could you beg for a gumball anymore? Or I'll hear myself do it, and that's even more gross. And then you go, oh man, I'm totally asking for a gumball. Like we all do it. But some people are living off of it. It is their love language, and they're not going to be able to be in a relationship with you if you're not consistently feeding them those highs. So once we start to adjust that, everything else will change. So part of loving ourselves is doing the things we love. Hobbies, yeah, it's nice to write on a dating profile, but if it doesn't really represent what you actually love to do, then it's really meaningless. So I know this is freaking hard at first because we feel like, I saw a funny meme, you'll never realize how boring you are until somebody asks you, what do you do for fun? And then you're like, and then you feel like, my God, do I do anything for fun? And it's really embarrassing. I remember being in this place because I thought, man, I don't even know what I like to do. I don't even know. And then I would feel bad about it. So don't feel bad about it. Man, if you're in a position where you can explore your hobbies, you're very, very fortunate. So let's just start off with that. Let's be grateful that we can listen to this podcast on a smartphone or a expensive laptop. Let's be grateful, number 2, that we have food, and maybe even be grateful for toilet paper because we all went through Corona. Like these are the small things we can be thankful for. But the point of doing things you love means it's a reflection of if you love yourself. So number 1, if I love myself, I'm not going to put myself around people that don't love me. So the first sign of not loving yourself is allowing people to abuse your energy and your gifts and the gems that you give. So the opposite of the gumball is a gem. So think, the gumball is the most, it's a quick sugar high. It's over in an instant. Where a gemstone, You know the value of a diamond, you know the value of an emerald and a ruby. And those are things that we cherish and that we keep and that we preserve. And we freak out if we misplace them because we know that they hold tremendous value. And so if we are not treated as though we are tremendously valuable to another person, we have to recognize that spending time around that person means it's a sign that I don't love myself enough. Okay? So another sign, number 2, of loving yourself is doing the things you love. So I'm just going to give you some examples of music or art or shopping or fashion. I mean, I used to say shopping's not really a hobby, but if you love it and you love shopping for certain things, maybe you love helping other people shop. My cousin just took me shopping and changed my whole wardrobe. We got a whole bunch of stuff. We went to the outlet mall. I bought colors I never purchased before. And as I was watching her shop for me, I was realizing she had a talent. And I kept saying to her, Lindsay, you don't have to, shop for yourself. You don't have to do it for me. And she's like, no, this is so fun. I love doing this. And so she was getting to use her gift. And then she wanted me to try stuff on. I was like, wow, she really does love doing this. And so I let her. It was kind of funny. Like normally I would have said, no. I would have refused her gift because I would have felt like I'm not worthy of you spending this whole day focused on me and what I want to buy and what I need in my closet. I would have felt not worthy enough for that. However, I am worthy enough for that. And she loved doing it. And she got to do what she loves to do. And she kept loving it more and more. And so we were just loving on each other in the process because I really appreciated everything she was saying. So it's one of those signs, like I do love myself enough to know that I'm worthy of this, even though it feels like a lot of focus on me, it's okay. So I want you to think about, what do I love to do? What am I attracted to? And it does not have to be, and I know I've said this a million times, but I feel like, wow, this has to be something we keep beating in our heads. It's not like you have to do a hobby where, okay, I'm gonna learn to play the piano and it's gonna take up, hours and hours per week and I don't have the time. Hobbies are not necessarily like that. They can be watching a documentary about something. It can be watching a makeup tutorial because you really love eyeshadow or you really love putting on makeup. It can be about a new hairstyle. Maybe you love hair or you love coloring your hair differently. Maybe you are passionate about furniture shopping and decorating. Maybe you love the gym and you love doing different workouts. So you go to a gym where you can explore all different types of workouts and really get into learning about the body. Maybe you want to learn a different language and you want to explore that. And along with that language comes culture, food, customs, clothing, energy, like all of the things. I mean, just think of like, France or Germany or anywhere. I mean, whatever country you maybe want to travel to. Have you ever thought about not just writing that off? Maybe you think, I would love to go to Italy. I would love to go to Venice and ride on a gondola. Maybe you just feel like, oh man, I would love to do that. That's one of the things I would love to do that I haven't done yet. So is it something I'm obsessed about? No, but it is something I'm very interested in. So what if I got a book about Venice? What if I really studied how the city became the city on water? Like, why are these boats traveling around? Like, I really don't know the history of Venice. So it's something you could learn about and just explore for a bit. So it could be a book. It could be a documentary. It could just be a YouTube video. So if you watch a YouTube video for 10 minutes, I really like Italy and I've been studying about Venice. It's just following your heart and your interests. So I'm going to just read you a long list of things that I did. I love astronomy, so I often look up. Now I have, my boyfriend gave me this app where it tells me I can just put it up to the sky and I can see. I was like, oh man, what is that? What is that star above the moon just last night? And Mars is right above the moon. I put that app up there. I was like, oh man, so cool. And you know what? He and I both share our love for astronomy. I love classical music. Ended up being music scores. And composer I love the most, Hans Zimmer. I explored painting. You guys, you should see the painting I just did. I was so tempted to just randomly show you guys on Instagram. I will show you. I feel like I explored painting. My first paintings were not that great, but there was something about the brushes and the whole feeling about having paint around and the easel. And I just liked that. And I thought, what am I doing? This is so stupid. Like, I don't even know how to paint, but I just liked all the stuff. So I got all the stuff and I just gave it a shot. And it turns out I can really paint. I mean, am I Monet? No, but it could be something that it's just for me, right? It's just something I like to do for myself. And these are the things I want you to do for yourself. This whole Gumball Love thing started out with an interest in psychology. I always said, boy meets girl, falls in love. I'm always interested to know how that happens. Why does it happen? So again, it's just really going further with those. I love libraries. So when I moved to New York City, I got a library card. Maybe I'm one of the few people with a library card, but it's just something I want to be able to go into the library, check out books. I love journaling. I just joined Rachel Luna's faith-activated year-long journaling. So we get daily journal prompts. We're in a group. We're talking about writing things down, manifesting, and writing in your journal as if things have already happened versus writing your journal about things that have happened or that are happening. So there's mindset shifts because I love to journal. So I thought, man, I should do this journaling group to really take that to the next level. I could go on. I love Monet. I love Jeeps. I just ordered a brand new Jeep because now I'm in a place where I have to have a vehicle so I get to have my Jeep back. I love school supplies and office stuff. And I love to be in the sauna and the steam room, something I really discovered in going back to the gym a couple of years ago. On and on and on. You guys, so I'm trying to give you ideas to where all of these things will converge and they will interact. You'll be able to interact with so many different people based on your hobbies, your interests. But the pursuit of this is the evidence that you love yourself. Now, in the pursuit of this, number 3 is getting out of your comfort zone. So I'm going to give you these and I'll do the review, but getting out of your comfort zone. So when you start to do these things and you explore things that you haven't explored before, but you really have an interest, you start to build a confidence. And then you start connecting with other like-minded people. And as you explore the things you love, you start to love yourself more and like yourself more. When I started ballroom dancing, that was probably the single most confidence building thing I ever did. But it wasn't just me dancing. It was me dancing with Stephanie. It was me dancing with Katie and us going to the competitions together and talking about our fears together and overcoming that with a community of professional dancers around me and being encouraged by my teachers and by all of the people in the studio. All of the people that danced on stage, on the Broadway stage that we did, when we did that together, it was such a team and we all were so scared, but we all had to do the same thing that day and perform on a stage by ourselves with a teacher. And it was so confidence building. And again, you're connected with like-minded people. And so this is the stuff that grows that love for yourself. Number 4, I want you to give yourself a break. I thought about doing this as a whole other podcast, but really the heart of this is I dated the wrong guys because we didn't love ourselves. When you're dating the wrong guy, you don't love yourself. So that's why you're single now, if you are, or you're in the wrong relationship now, or you feel like you can't get out. It's because you don't love yourself enough yet. But there is a way through it. You're staying too long because you're trying to earn their love. You stayed because you made an investment and you thought you should stay. You stayed because, bottom line, you're so loving. And he does have potential. We all do, right? So you see the potential, and it's normal to want to cultivate the potential in the one that you love, because you're going to see who your partner is today and the potential of who they could be tomorrow. And I believe that that is a beautiful thing. But you can't just be in the relationship solely for the potential while you're not getting any of your needs met. When you're with the right person, you're going to feel loved because they're going to love you unconditionally. So you're not going to be staying in the relationship for what it could be. You will be happy with what it is today. But I'm saying that in the past, you've stayed with the wrong guy because he's in his moments where he's high on the gumball. He gives you the illusion it's going to be better, but it really never gets there. And so in the loving, wonderful, beautiful woman you are, you believed in him, and that is what makes you great. And so don't confuse loving potential as a flaw, because he's just not able to love you wholly while he works toward his potential. So I have potential, you have potential, your future guy has potential. So don't confuse that part of you, that loving part of you, and don't discount that. Because a lot of times we get bitter about these past experiences and we carry that forward. And then we have this anger that we don't want to put onto the man, ultimately the man you really want to be with. We don't want to go into the dating world with that bitterness. So give yourself a break as number 4, and realize that you are single now, or you dated the wrong people because you didn't know better. And because your standard wasn't high enough. You weren't picky enough. It wasn't because something is wrong with you. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. What's wrong with you is that you don't realize there's nothing wrong. There's nothing, you're not a flawed individual. Nobody is perfect. But right now, there is at least one person or 2 or 3 or more that love you for who you are exactly. And so that will not change when you meet your significant other. They will love you for who you are with all of your flaws, because the flaws are what make it interesting, right? So I don't want you to feel like you have to fix a bunch of stuff, okay? So I think I'm actually going to leave this second part because I feel like it's a whole other podcast and this went too long. But I think that I want you to just review this, and I don't mean to leave you hanging, but trust me, you'll want it to be in another podcast. So those were enough tips. So maybe turn these into journal prompts. I'm into the journaling world with Rachel Luna's Faith Activated program. Number 1, who is in your life and who are you spending time around? So maybe use these as your prompts. Who is in my life? Who am I spending time around? Am I doing what I love? Are you exploring your interests? Number 3, are you working really hard for love, or are you changing? I have this written down. Are you working really hard for love, or are you changing your mindset to believe you're already worthy of it? This is the shift you need to make. I am already worthy of love right now, today. And the only thing that pursuing the interests and the hobbies and taking care of yourself, going to the gym, eating right, exercising, all of these are manifestations of the fact that you love yourself. We don't do these things to get love. We do these things because we love ourselves, because we know we are worthy of it. You are worthy of a workout. You are worthy of healthy food. You are worthy of skipping the dessert. You're also worthy of having the dessert. But there's a balance, right? So when we are off balance, we are not loving ourselves in a healthy way. And therefore, we are setting the tone that not loving ourselves is okay. So that's when we entertain relationships that aren't good for us. It's a sign that we aren't loving ourselves. So I want you to look at giving yourself a break is a sign of loving yourself. It is not shaming yourself of your past. It's saying, you know what? Yeah, I dated the wrong guys because I didn't know better, but I know better now. I'm working toward it. And let's stop putting this stigma on being single. I mean, I think there's more single people than there are married people, and there have been for the last 10 years. There's over 50 million single people. It's not a weird place to be. You're not in some exclusive club. You're actually in the majority if you're single. So don't spend your time feeling bad about where you are, because again, that tells your brain there's something wrong with me. And if you feel like there's something wrong with you, then you're going to perpetuate this cycle. So right now, just keep remembering, there are so many people that love me for exactly who I am without my hobbies, money in my account, or career trajectory. Just soak that in. Get out of your comfort zone. Give yourself a break Remember, it took this long, or it's taking this long because you didn't settle, and you're staying on the journey, and you're not going to just let anyone put a ring on your finger to satisfy society norms and live in a private misery, but a public success. That's not you. Also, this is something I was going to get into in more detail, but I want you to recognize your attachment type. And some of us, I realize that I have anxious attachment disorder, which sounds terrible, but I'm going to give you a little sneak peek to this, and I want to get into more detail. So just Google anxious attachment disorder. I'm just curious of how many of us relate to this. But I realized I would get anxiety about my relationship, and there would be no evidence to support the anxiety. And so my very loving, wonderful man will just work through this with me. But at first I didn't understand where it was coming from. And so I would say, this is my issue. Sometimes I get anxiety. I work through it. And so I thought a lot of it was coming from past relationships with different guys. But actually it comes from parents. So when I look back at, and I actually just talked to my mom about this recently, she was anxious when she was pregnant with me. She was anxious in her marriage. She was anxious and she was not getting her emotional needs met at the time when she was pregnant with me and when I was young. She was still a great mom, but her anxiety got passed down to me. And so I think sometimes when people go, I don't know, my parents are fine, I don't know why I'm having this issue. I've had a lot of people ask me about this. And this was another big revelation and there's many different types of attachment styles. I don't really want to call them disorders because I feel like everyone has one. We should probably remove that stigma that it's a disorder. And so now I can tell my significant other, I have this anxiety. It's going to come up, but it has nothing to do with him. So what I'm telling you is you can take responsibility and you can work through it. And so what I've done is I journal through it. I talk through it with my therapist. And it's really exciting because so much anxiety in general, not even specific to this, has gone away because I now can name it. I now can see, oh, this is what it is. This is the thing. And so I was able to stop focusing or trying to find something wrong in the relationship and realize that the anxiety was coming from somewhere else. And then it just subsided because I found the root of it. So don't underestimate the fact that don't underestimate this, and also do the work to research it. And that's what I want to help you do. I don't expect you to take this all on, so we can work together on this. And you can go to the link in my bio or to my website to book a one-on-one, or if you want to do 3 sessions, we can kind of work through this together, because it's so important that you have tools in your toolbox. And I highly recommend you get that toolbox organized before your relationship, because you are going to fall in love. You are going to feel falling in love makes you feel very out of control because you love this person without doing anything. When it's real and it's genuine, it's like, this is the greatest love of my life I'm experiencing now. And I feel things and I'm doing things and I'm worried about him all the time. And it's like, it's so different this time. And so those feelings bring on it's new for me. It's new anxieties. It's all these other things. And so it is not your partner's responsibility to be your therapist, to walk you through these things. They can be supportive and loving. And when you are with someone who really loves you, they will do whatever you need. However, I believe we should not put all of that pressure and all of that burden on them, because we are responsible for our own happiness. So we have to be careful that we're not putting our happiness all into their basket and putting all that on them to constantly ride a roller coaster with us. Okay? So take responsibility. Remember, you will not, quote unquote, arrive before you meet him. He will arrive in the right timing and you'll work together. He's not your therapist, but he's your partner. I've already said this. I'm reading my notes here. Do your part. Take care of yourself. And this doing your part and taking care of yourself is loving yourself. So the evidence in how worthy you feel for love is going to be in how you love yourself first. Your relationship with God nurturing your faith, your personal health, your close relationships, your home, your job, how you take care of things, how you support yourself. All of this says, I love me, and I love me enough, and I feel worthy. And so loving yourself and feeling worthy and taking care of yourself makes you a better partner. It doesn't make you selfish. It makes you a better partner. Okay? And you want those who love and cherish and appreciate you for who you are without you having to work for it. Okay? So let's take away the idea that we work for love. Let's take away that it should be based on conditions. Love is unconditional. You are worthy right now. You are enough right now. And the thing wrong with you is thinking there's something wrong with you. Okay, I'm going to keep saying that over and over again. There is nothing wrong with you. All right. So I hope I wasn't beating a dead horse, but I think those of us that need this message kind of need it over and over and over again. So please let me know what you think. Reach out to me, melissa@gumballlove.com if you want to email me directly, or you can shoot me a DM. Best way to reach me is on Instagram @TheMelissaLedger in my DMs there. So I will talk to you soon. Until next time, bye-bye. Thank you so much for listening. If you want more information or to schedule a private coaching session, or better yet, to join the next Back to You Academy, go to gumballllove.com. If you loved this podcast, I would love for you to share it with your friends. And if you really loved it, a 5-star review is the best compliment you can give. Remember, you are enough, you are right where you should be, and the only thing you have to do is keep going. I'll leave you with my favorite quote by Henry David Thoreau. Go confidently in the direction of your dreams and live the life you have imagined. Until next time, I'll see you soon.